You are welcome to Nana's Tarot and Oracles. I am the Nana, and Nana loves you. You have a home here for comfort and contemplation, hope and inspiration, rest, renewal, and relaxation. Your readings here may empower you to use your intuition to help you towards a better life. All readings are dedicated to truth in life, but cannot take the place of professional services of any kind. Readings are general for the collective, and if they do not sound right for you, they may not be for you today. Try again another day. If you like what you're hearing, please select the like button below and subscribe with all notifications. It's free. Share with your friends or family. If you have a question or a comment, I will try to answer it below. You are important to Nana, and Nana is always happy to have a chance to speak to you again. Today is a big day. Today is June the 19th. June the 19th is a national holiday now, Juneteenth, to celebrate Lincoln's emancipation of the enslaved people. And it's called Juneteenth because many of them did not get the message on the day that it occurred, and we're not certain of the exact date. The other big thing that is going on right now is astrologically, we have Chiron moving into Taurus today. Chiron has been in the sign of Aries for 7+ years, and it is moving into Taurus today, but then in September will dip back into Aries until early next year. This is very significant because Chiron is the asteroid who represents the Centaur, the wounded healer, and has to do with dealing with our wounds and our hurts. In Aries, Chiron is more about dealing with our personal and past issues. In Taurus, it shifts into another degree, and we're going to talk about that some today. But first of all, what I would say is I found this and I thought it was a very good summary of what we are experiencing now that will be influential over the next 12 days, will rewrite the rest of your year. And it starts with Chiron leaving Aries, closing the 8-year identity healing cycle that began in 2018. The version of yourself that you have been building since then officially becomes yours. The second thing that's going to happen is tomorrow on June the 20th. This is the summer solstice. This is the cosmic threshold that closes the first half of 2026 and opens the second half. I'm going to tell you in a minute about an astrologer who asserts, and I'm interested in her opinions, that this is actually what we should consider the new year. And what you walk into Sunday, according to this notification, is what the next 6 months will be built around. And then at the end of this 12-day period, Jupiter enters Leo on June the 30th. This opens a 12-month expansion cycle that has not been available to you since 2014. The kind of opportunities and recognition it brings have been waiting on the other side of the spring for you to be ready. These three events are not just astronomical changes, they are the universe restructuring the foundation underneath the next year of your life. By July the 1st, the trajectory of your whole year will have changed. And this is from Facebook Collective World. And of course, I also have looked at the newsletter of Astrology by Lauren. And if you look up astrologybylauren.com, you will find it. I encourage you to sign up for her weekly astrology forecasts. She talks about summer solstice and Chiron. She talks about the solstice as a day of power and initiation, and that's a photograph of Stonehenge at daybreak on summer solstice. Not this year, obviously, since we're not there yet. And Chiron entering Taurus. She has a lot of interesting things to say about Chiron. She says, so what can we expect from the approximately 7-year transit of Chiron to Taurus? There it is if you want to stop the video and read it for yourself. While Chiron was in Aries, we were all cautioned to focus on our own self-healing. If we don't tend our own wounds, we're no use to anyone else. But as Chiron moves from Aries to Taurus, it makes its initial shift from the individual, from the independent warrior, to interdependence. One of the things we become aware of are the ways that we need and depend on each other in ways that we may not have fully appreciated, and that includes our relationship to the earth, our mother. I have spoken many times during the readings about the importance of being grounded and connected with the earth, and I think this relates to that. We've had several times the Three of Pentacles, which is the card of collaboration, of working together. To go back to Astrology by Lauren, it will become abundantly clear how we are connected economically, how the economic balance and imbalance affects the natural flow of commerce, and how much we rely on the health and well-being of the planet, as well as our physical bodies. Taurus has to do with financial interconnectedness, worthiness, and what we value, and Chiron here will compel us to address wealth scarcity due to consolidation and food scarcity due to climate and economic changes. This is me talking now. I will say again, if you have any way to start some sort of a food production garden, whether that is in containers out inside or outside your house, or in your yard, or in a community garden, consider doing so. This is a way of getting grounded and of ensuring more food security. Back to Astrology by Lauren, but it also compels us to consider how well we value ourselves on a personal level. For instance, being willing to ask for help and or for what we deserve and or need in order to survive. Our institutional safety net has been severely compromised, limited, restricted, and frankly, cut. We need to look at our communities to see how we can work to support each other on the community level, and we need to be willing to ask for help if we personally need help. And this came out and really hit me. If you will remember, in our last reading we got the Chamber of Soul Contracts. I want you to notice here where she speaks about our homework for the next 7 to 8 years is thus releasing old soul contracts that are self-limiting and no longer valid for who you are now. including sacrificing your own needs in order to make others happy. Devaluing your own self-worth and self-esteem, the wound of poverty, putting aside your own destiny in order to fit in, and more homework, learning to set appropriate boundaries. Work hard to give value to and make our lives more sustainable. A need for economic restructuring. This is not just local, it is global, and it is political. Think about what you can do. She talks about Chiron being in Taurus during the economic crash of 1929 and the Great Depression. People think about those times and think, oh, how horrible, but they don't think about the fact that there was tremendous reconstruction with the New Deal. The following Chiron and Taurus era in 1976 through 84 was the Reagan era, which emphasized deregulation and has resulted in now in a world where a handful of trillionaires thrive and the bottom 97% struggle to make ends meet. And we are at an ecological tipping point. Food scarcity, severe weather changes, and our collective responsibility to the planet. Stand up for these things. Work in your community for better ecology, sustainable living practices. Chiron will show us what is broken and not working anymore. Economic, political, and ecological tipping points are merely the outer ramifications of something that goes much deeper. This is when we ask the questions about when enough is enough, and is it possible for a tiny minority to own too much? These are things to think about. And considering our self-worth, we might want to ask ourselves how well we value who we are and what we have to offer. So, then we have the solstice on June 21st, one of the 4 magical corners of the solar year, the longest day of the year, the longest and the brightest day. So think about that. How significant is it that the solstice is so closely sextile the Centaur Chiron fresh into Taurus, the sign associated with prosperity and fertility? Sextiles are aspects of potential and opportunity, so think of it in that manner. You know, in Chinese, the character for crisis also means opportunity. Think about your opportunities. And a wonderful quote here. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. Go to Astrology by Lauren and check your horoscope to see how Chiron's ingress into Taurus means for you. And as always, we have Tanya Gabrielle's observation that Taurus, when Chiron goes into Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so there will be a highlight on women's health and women's bodies. So if you are a woman, if you have women in your life, you should think about this. And there is an astrologer on YouTube I highly recommend. Her name is Megan Riley. She has a video today called Thema Mundi. Thema Mundi is a phrase that encapsulates an astrological perspective that says that summer solstice is the new year. And this is a phenomenal video that I highly recommend. Her astrology is from a feminist perspective. Considering the Venus aspect of this, as always, we'll be using the Triple Goddess today to honor the Divine Feminine. Now, we also have, of course, Molly McCord's excellent chart about our weekly intuitive astrology for June the 17th to the 24th. Now, this did start on the 17th with Venus opposite Pluto, a period for rebirthing values and detaching from superficial power struggles. And here's a lovely illustration of Chiron entering Taurus, the first time since 1984, focusing healing on self-worth and stability. And here is a wonderful attention to the Divine Feminine, coming from the very masculine Aries to Venusian Taurus to harmonize and simplify life. And then we have, with the solstice tomorrow, the Sun entering Cancer, a powerful threshold into new growth, emotional maturity, and personal safety. She also speaks of multi-dimensional timeline collapse with high-frequency light memories from other lifetimes. Do you have memories from other lifetimes? I do not, but it certainly sounds interesting. And healthy Cancer energy, establishing an equilibrium of giving and receiving to avoid depletion. Again, keep in mind, giving and receiving, that you have much to give, but that also you need to receive when it is necessary. So much for astrology today. Let's pull a few cards. We'll start, as we always do, with the inner temple. All cards were thoroughly shuffled prior to the reading. And our card today is projections again. We just had this card. It's interesting to me how we get these repeaters. This reminds you to look at how much you have a tendency to project your feelings onto others. I think that's very interesting. Let's see what we have in the book about projections. It's in the Soul Inquiry suit. And here is the text, should you choose to read it. And the Soul Inquiry is, who is triggering you? What is it that's triggering within you? Be brutally honest with yourself. What are you being called to do? Remember when we talked about soul contracts? That is your soul contract. I can tell you, and this is as good a time as any to introduce it, that I feel that I have a soul contract to do presentations starting this week on energy healing. So if you have an interest in energy healing, do watch for those videos. The first one should be coming out tomorrow or Sunday. And now let's have a talisman oracle card. A talisman oracle card for today is Divine Guidance. I like this card. And there is the sacred geometry that's embedded in it to trigger you to think about what you need to think about. Let's see what Divine Guidance has to say. Here is the text and the sacred geometry. In a reading, it's best to watch out for a sign before moving forward. You are ready to enjoy the fruits of your hard work, but don't decide to embrace any one aspect of your life just yet. Wait for some more information to emerge before making that choice. This card can also mean that it's best to use your intuition to make the final call. Listen to that voice within rather than your rational mind. Try to read the signs carefully and trust your instincts. Although it may be frustrating to wait, proceeding when the time is right will be much more rewarding. The talisman power, use this card when you feel at a crossroad or when you need a sign. Self-doubt can be overpowering, but waiting for the right time is necessary at this juncture. The frog stays still before getting ready to re-energize. Imagine being the frog and patiently waiting for the right moment. If waiting feels hard, try focusing your attention on all the sounds in nature the frog could be hearing. Your affirmation is, I am patient. And now, let's have a significator card from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Our significator card today is the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups. Cups are the water signs, which would include Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Cancer starts tomorrow. The Page of Cups brings news sometimes about surprising feelings, and there's an element of joy here. Pages are messengers. They bring messages. What message are you receiving about the summer solstice and entry into the sign of Cancer? On the reverse of the deck, we have the Judgment card in reverse. The Judgment card is a major arcana card. The next to the last card, number 20. 20 reduces to 2, which is, as we know, the number of choice and duality. And Judgment Day is considered to be the time when all are called to rise up and account for themselves. Now, this would tend to indicate to me, presenting in reverse, that judgment is not at hand now. That is the impression that I get from this card. So relax and enjoy yourself. And in honor of the Divine Feminine and in honor of Venus, our clarifier today is the Three of Pentacles. You can't make it up. Wasn't I just discussing this as the card of community and collaboration? That is what Chiron into Taurus is telling us. The pentacles are the earth signs, the signs of material possessions, money, the body, and health. This is the card of collaboration and community and cooperation. And the reverse of the deck is the Eight of Cups in reverse. The Eight of Cups is a card of moving on from 8 cups because you're on your way to 9 cups in wish fulfillment. In this case, the reversal suggests to me that it is not time to move on from the Eight of Cups. Interesting that we have 2 very positive clarifiers and 2 fairly serious reverse cards that suggest that maybe we can relax and consider how we can all work together to make our best life. Let's have a rune. Our rune for today is Hagale, also called Hagalaz, which is the rune of delay, disruptions, and difficulties. To me, this goes along more with Judgment and the Eight of Cups cards than it does with those two cards. However, once again, it may consider that this is not a time to be in a hurry, but a time to relax and consider and be patient, like our frog. And let's have a hexagram from the I Ching, the Book of Changes. Our hexagram for today is number 41. That looks like someone standing in a little whirlwind. Let's see what the excellent Menabel wind has to say about that. Number 41. Number 41 is soon. Debilitation. Here is the oracle. And the oracle says, what goes stale will enter a state of rot. Growth and well-being require dedication. Eradicate what is decaying immediately before it spreads. Never let mold fester. That reminds me of rust never sleeps. When movement takes a natural course toward decline, it becomes more advantageous to take up movement toward advancement. The question to ask is how one might achieve advancement in spite of the ongoing state of debilitation. A great upheaval is coming, but heaven will protect you. Walk the path of light. Honor the gods and ancestors with prayer, incense, offerings, and song. You will remain protected by the divine. Do not linger or dwell on matters that have come to their conclusion. Do not fault yourself for outcomes you could not control. Taking time for yourself in the mountains, at a lake, or by the seas will cleanse your heart, mind, and replenish what had been lost due to the woes of the everyday. Boy, that just winds it all up, doesn't it? And at the base, it additionally says, when there is distress, the sage will tame anger and desire. We will be able to be patient to deal with our disruptions and our delays. We can be patient. We can take time to enjoy the water. Go down to the beach, go to the lake, relax, take it easy. It's a holiday weekend. And consider what is needed to be done to repair what needs repairing. What a wonderful reading to receive on this day. I am so grateful. Thank you for tuning in to Nana's Tarot and Oracles today. You make Nana's day. Nana loves you and hopes you leave a question or a comment below. Select the like button, subscribe, and select all notifications. Nana will see you again soon with an energy healing video in peace and love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.